What if a troubled mind is not always a sign that something is wrong with your life, but sometimes a sign that something within you is asking to be understood? Long before modern conversations about stress, overthinking, emotional exhaustion, and the search for inner peace, Edgar Cayce spoke about the mysterious relationship between the mind, the body, emotions, and the spiritual life. Cayce became famous for entering an altered state and giving readings that followers believed offered insight into physical, emotional, and spiritual problems. Whether one accepts his abilities as genuine or views his work as part of 20th century spiritual folklore, his ideas continue to raise an intriguing question. What if the deepest cause of a troubled mind is not the noise around us, but the conflict within us? According to accounts of Cayce's readings, the human mind was not an isolated machine. He often described people as beings in which physical, mental, and spiritual dimensions were deeply connected. In this view, anxiety, confusion, fear, and inner unrest could sometimes be understood symbolically as expressions of imbalance. This does not mean every mental or physical problem has a spiritual cause, nor should Cayce's ideas replace modern medical or psychological care. Instead, his teachings can be explored as a form of spiritual reflection, a way of asking what our inner turmoil might be trying to reveal about the way we live. One of the most fascinating themes associated with Cayce is the power of thought. In his readings, thoughts were often treated as more than temporary mental events. They could influence attitudes, habits, choices, and ultimately the direction of a person's life. Imagine waking up every morning believing that you are behind, that you are not good enough, that something terrible is about to happen, or that everyone else is succeeding while you are failing. Even if nothing dramatic happens that day, the mind has already created an invisible environment of fear. One negative thought becomes another, then another, until the person begins reacting to a world that may exist more strongly inside the imagination than outside it. This idea has an important modern parallel. Today, people are surrounded by notifications, headlines, financial concerns, social comparisons, political arguments, career pressure, and an endless stream of other people's carefully edited lives. The mind rarely receives complete silence. We may physically sit in a quiet room while mentally carrying conversations from yesterday, fears about tomorrow, and comparisons with strangers we have never met. Cayce's philosophy, interpreted symbolically, invites us to ask whether we have become prisoners of thoughts that we repeatedly feed. There is another hidden lesson in his work, the difference between what we desire and what we actually live. A person may say they want peace while constantly pursuing competition. They may say they want simplicity while surrounding themselves with unnecessary pressure. They may want meaningful relationships while protecting themselves from vulnerability. They may pray for guidance while refusing to slow down long enough to listen to their conscience. In such situations, the troubled mind may be understood as a messenger of contradiction. This is where Cayce's spiritual philosophy becomes especially mysterious. His readings frequently emphasized ideals such as service, patience, compassion, prayer, and the development of a constructive purpose. The suggestion was not simply to think positive thoughts, but to transform the direction of one's life. A peaceful mind, in this interpretation, was not created by pretending problems did not exist. It was developed by aligning thoughts, choices, and actions with deeper values. There are also countless stories and legends surrounding Cayce's life that have contributed to his enduring reputation. Supporters have described remarkable readings in which he appeared to know details about people he had never personally met. Others have regarded these stories with skepticism, suggesting that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Over time, the boundary between documented history, personal testimony, spiritual belief, and folklore has become difficult to separate. That uncertainty is part of the mystery surrounding Cayce. His legacy survives not because every claim has been universally accepted, but because his ideas continue to provoke questions about consciousness and human nature. Perhaps the most important symbolic lesson is hidden in the phrase, troubled mind itself. A troubled mind can be imagined as water disturbed by constant movement. When the surface is shaken, the water cannot clearly reflect the sky. But when the movement settles, the reflection becomes visible again. In the same way, a mind overwhelmed by fear, anger, comparison, and endless stimulation may struggle to recognize what it truly values. The problem may not always be that there is no answer. Sometimes the problem is that there is too much noise to hear it. This does not mean that a person should simply stop thinking. Reflection and overthinking are not the same thing. Reflection moves toward understanding. Overthinking often moves in circles. Reflection asks, "What can I learn from this?" Overthinking asks the same frightening question repeatedly without reaching resolution. Reflection creates perspective. Overthinking creates exhaustion. Cayce's teachings also encourage a deeper examination of fear. Much of human behavior is driven by hidden fears: fear of rejection, fear of poverty, fear of failure, fear of aging, fear of being forgotten, or fear that our lives do not have meaning. We may disguise these fears as ambition, perfectionism, anger, or control. A person may work endlessly, not because they love achievement, but because they secretly believe they are worthless without it. Another may seek constant approval because silence forces them to confront uncertainty. The hidden lesson is powerful. Sometimes the behavior we defend most strongly is protecting a fear we have never honestly examined. From a spiritual perspective, Cayce's philosophy suggests that self-knowledge is not merely an intellectual exercise. It requires honesty. It asks us to look beyond the personality we present to the world and examine the motives underneath it. Why do I need to prove myself? Why does another person's success disturb me? Why am I afraid to be alone with my thoughts? Why do I continue a habit that repeatedly makes me unhappy? Why do I chase things that leave me empty after I obtain them? These questions can be uncomfortable because they remove the easy explanation that everything is caused by someone else. Yet they can also become liberating. If part of our suffering comes from patterns within our control, then awareness creates the possibility of change. In today's world, this message may be more relevant than ever. We have developed incredible technologies for connecting with the outside world, but many people still struggle to understand their inner world. We can instantly communicate across continents, yet remain strangers to our own fears. We can search for information in seconds, yet spend years avoiding one difficult truth about ourselves. Perhaps that is the hidden message behind Edgar Cayce's approach. peace does not necessarily begin when the world becomes quiet. It may begin when we become quiet enough to understand what is happening inside us. The ancient spiritual traditions of many cultures have carried similar ideas in different forms. The language changes, the symbols change, and the names change, but the central question remains surprisingly consistent. Who are you beneath your fears, desires, habits, and social identity? Cayce's answer, interpreted through a modern lens, points toward inner alignment. When thought, action, purpose, and conscience move in completely different directions, the mind can become restless. But when a person begins bringing those elements into harmony, even imperfectly, something changes. Problems may not disappear. Life may not suddenly become easy. But the person facing those problems becomes different. And perhaps that is the mystery worth carrying with us. A troubled mind may not always be an enemy to defeat. Sometimes, symbolically, it can be a messenger standing at the door, asking us to look within. The fear may be revealing a wound. The restlessness may be revealing a contradiction. The exhaustion may be revealing a life built around priorities that no longer matter. And the silence we fear may contain the very answers we have been too distracted to hear. Whether Edgar Cayce was a gifted spiritual intuitive, an extraordinary storyteller of his era, or something that history has not completely explained, remains a matter of belief and interpretation. But one lesson from the tradition surrounding him remains valuable. Do not automatically believe every thought that enters your mind. Observe it, question it, understand it, and then decide whether it deserves to guide your life. Because sometimes the greatest transformation does not begin when we discover a new answer. It begins when we finally become brave enough to question the old one.